I've been doing acting like, what, 6, 7 months. This was my first play. When I came in, I didn't know what to expect, but everybody in this community welcomed me with open arms, so I took it serious from the beginning when I first stepped in here. Doing this play, I done gathered this personal desire to want to do acting. You know, I never thought I'd do any acting, but I'm kind of falling in love with acting. How you got to come out yourself and encounter new, different worlds, characters, emotions, feelings, and whatnot. So I'm falling in love with acting, and something I probably want to do when I get out.
Give him these money and these notes, dear Oscar.
I will, my lord.
You shall do marvelously wisely before you visit him to make inquiry of his behavior.
My lord, I did attend it.
Take you as 'twere some distant knowledge of him. Put on what forgeries you please.
As game, my lord.
Ah, as in drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, by indirections find directions out. God be with you, fare you well.
And what was it like for you writing your original piece?
It was healing. It brought healing to something that I was dealing with all my life, which caused me to end up in prison at so young, caused me to be angry and do the type of things that I did. I didn't want to write it, you know. Ryan told me to write it. I was hesitating to write it, but I'm glad I did because it opened up the doors to, it gave me more understanding about myself, you know, about why I ended up in prison, about, you know, why I chose the gangbang, chose the street life and all that type of stuff. It taught me something. And with that in mind, I wrote another piece, and every piece I write, it fixed something in me. You know, it brings my heart back together, you know, because all that pain that I've been dealing with, you know, was brokenhearted and disappointments and not being able to trust other humans and, you know, basically detachment issues. So every time I write a piece and I'm eligible to express myself, it heals my heart, you know, so.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, excuse me. When I'm going home to my mommy, he said within 3 days, I was going to be released to my mother. But 3 days turned into 6 days. Still no mother came. Yet I remain optimistic as any other young boy would who loves his mother unconditionally and believes in her. It wasn't until 14 days later, after appearing in front of a judge while still in juvenile hall, that I finally had a chance to see my mother. She sat to the left of my public defender, and I sat to his right. Not knowing the significance of this hearing or being aware that my life was about to change forever, I paid the sadness that lingered in the air, conjunction to this moment, no attention, while constantly leaning forward past my public defender, hoping to get my mother's attention while smiling to let her know that I was being strong and that I was happy to see her. Yet she stared straight forward at the judge while not even glancing my way. I could not understand what was going on at the time between this man who wore a black robe and this other man with this suit and tie on that prevented my mother from hugging and kissing me by sitting in between us. It wasn't until the public defender whispered in my ear, "Mr. Randall, please sit back," to when I actually started to pay attention to what the judge was saying to my mother. I vividly recalled the judge uttering to my mother, "Mrs. Sims, I'm placing your son on 6 months of probation in your care. And if Mr. Randall violates any terms of his probation, his next vacation is going to be in the juvenile camp for the next 6 months." He then continued in his dialogue by asking my mother, was she aware that she could have picked me up within 3 days after I was brought to juvenile hall. I remember my mother clearly replying,
"Yes, Judge, I was aware of that, but I don't want KIMANI no more. That's my son. But KIMANI do not listen to me or to his what he wants to do. So you can take him wherever. I cannot help him.